in Jake Wallis Simons, author, columnist and a very good guy. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
Good morning. Very well.
This is outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the chief constable failed, sadly, to look at the facts. The facts are that Maccabi Tel Aviv, in the last 100 games, caused no significant trouble at all. Before the match in Amsterdam, there was a WhatsApp group locally in Amsterdam with 900 people on it calling for a Jew hunt, planning violence against the Israeli fans. When the Israeli fans came over, there was violence, mainly against them. Of the people thrown into the river, there was one who was Israeli, the only one who was Israeli, thrown into the river, not allowed to come out until he said free Palestine. There were 10 arrests. 9 out of those 10 arrests were local people, local thugs, attacking the Israelis, not Israeli fans at all. And so the picture is built up that actually the Israelis, although I'm sure some of them got stuck in, and football hooligans are from all nationalities, including Israelis, they were very much the victims in the overall picture. But it's been politicised ever since. You know, last week there was a match. Aston Villa played the Young Boys, a Swiss team, who are well known for their hooliganism. There was no petition, there was no ban of the fans, and there was outrageous levels of violence, including seats being torn up at Villa Park and hurled towards the pitch, and that game had to be abandoned due to that violence. So there does seem to be a certain kind of something else is going on here, isn't it? Perhaps it isn't so much about hooliganism. Perhaps it's about the fact that this is an Israeli and Jewish team, and that 70% roughly of the local people in Villa Park, around Villa Park, are Muslim.
It is astonishing. I mean, I've been quite vocal about anti-Semitism. I find any racism abhorrent. I've said that forever, and I will forever say it because that's etched inside me. However, it worries me is that as a nation, as a country, almost as a world, we don't see anti-Semitism in the same way as we see other racism, because I don't know if it's because Jews are white. I don't know. I'm not interested in that. I think that any form of it is appalling. I've said this story before. I have friends, Jewish friends, whose kids still can't wear their school uniform to go on the bus in North London. This has to surely be an example of people in authority making an assumption, and you look at the facts and you go, is this right, or is this blatantly anti-Jewish, anti-Israeli? It can't be fair. Your analogy there of the Swiss boys, young boys, is absolutely spot on. The game was delayed and brought back on, etc., because of violence, and not a squeak out of anybody from the Europa League or indeed from Aston Villa. I'm not laying this at the football club, I'm laying this at the police. And when you have a Chief Constable, Craig Kilford, yesterday squirming in front of the Home Affairs Select Committee, almost saying, well, you know, they were talking about another game, but we sort of thought this might happen. You could literally look him in the face and go, you're anti-Semitic, aren't you? It's totally and utterly unfair.
Well, I wouldn't be able to speak about whether he's anti-Semitic, but certainly he's under strong influence.
Well, he's the boss. He's the boss. Do something about it.
I think a big part of the problem is that it's been well documented that amongst the Muslim community, particularly Muslim communities in Britain that are not integrated into the mainstream, you know, in like I said, in the constituency around Villa Park is 70% non-white and self-described as predominantly Muslim. They describe themselves as both diverse and predominantly Muslim. I'm not sure both of those things can go together, by the way. But anyway, you know, there's a well-documented phenomenon of high levels of anti-Semitism amongst Muslim communities in Britain. And it does seem as if the local police are coming under extremely heavy pressure from community elders, community representatives in that local community. And it's influencing their decision-making because they don't want trouble to be caused by Muslim thugs on the streets. And we saw that even when that game went ahead, without any Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, the police still had to deploy 700 officers with dogs, with drones, with horses to cope with the violence coming from this local community. Now, the fans weren't even there. If you're trying to tell me that all the violence is going to come from the Israeli fans, then you ban the Israeli fans, then why have you got to deploy 700 police officers with dogs, drones and horses to cope with violence on the streets? Why are there these anti-Semitic posters going up all round the Villa Park, put up by masked thugs in the middle of the night? Something else is going on here. The police were informed in their intelligence, allegedly, by a group called the Hind Rajab Foundation, which is an anti-Israel group started by somebody who was formerly in Hezbollah. That group gave the police, allegedly, some of the intelligence they used in this decision-making. The whole thing stinks. Clearly, the police are being lent upon by anti-Semites of different sorts, and they're trying to justify their decision in terms of public safety. It stinks.
Couldn't put it any better myself, and really important, Jake, to actually have that. And the reason I said about the copper is, you know, if you go with politicians or leaders of companies, if you're in charge, you have to be responsible for the attitude that prevails. Really great to have you on, my friend. Thank you so much indeed. Further proof that anti-Semitism, sadly, is alive and well in this country. 10 to 9.